Hey, it's Gary Kayye. We're here at the end of day one of CEDIA 2015 here in Dallas. Back in Dallas for the first time in over 20 years where the show actually started here. And I'm joined by Brian Savarese. And you guys weren't here when the show started because you're a fairly new entry in the home market and now dominating it less than 10 years later. And now you're making a big introduction of some high brightness products. So let's talk about that, Brian.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of growth in the last 10 years. We're a worldwide leader in home theater and in projectors in general, but the big story for the show this time around is our ultra high bright Pro Cinema product. So we've expanded our lineup. We added a new model to that lineup, so now we offer 4 products within our ultra bright Pro Cinema line, and we're really excited about it. It's a big demand in the market. Our dealers are talking to us and saying we've got different types of installs that necessitate basically a higher lumen projector versus your more traditional home theater product, dedicated home theater room, which we're still driving a ton of innovation into as well.
Right, and in a home theater room, you're going to have more control over ambient light because you want to, but in the rest of the house, you don't necessarily want to have your lights off all the time.
Right.
You don't necessarily want to be limited by the technology. You want actually the technology to augment the room, and so brightness matters.
Right.
And so you've got products starting at 4,000 and going up to 6,800 lumens, if I remember correctly off the top of my head.
Lumens, yep.
Yes, 6,000 lumens. And so you're showing them here in the booth. You're doing something kind of cool. You're showing different applications that aren't home theater related.
Yeah, exactly. And so we know from a customer base that, you know, at this level of product, customers want the advantages of a projector, the immersive big screen entertainment of a projector, but to your point, they want to enjoy it within the context of a room that they're used to, you know, a typical flow, and a lot of ambient light, cathedral ceilings, French doors, etc. So they need a product that can handle that type of room. And then aesthetics, of course, are really important too at that level of customer. So they want the projection experience to be there when they need it and gone when they don't, and projectors can deliver that. So
yeah, and you know, what's interesting now with this a line that's this bright means you don't have to redesign the physical facility to accommodate projection. So I think people are going to rethink even theaters one day, but let's focus on some of the other applications. So now you've got projectors that are near about bright enough to start projecting at 7 o'clock at night. I mean, when will we be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean, you're now at 6,000 amps lumens here. What are we going to see next year?
Well, I mean, I think it really depends on the time of year, certainly. But I mean, we're doing a combination of large room installs with a ton of ambient light, but we're also taking this story outside. We have some phenomenal installs that have been happening with our ultra bright Pro Cinema, shooting over people's backyard pools with drop-down screens. So really, the possibilities are endless, and certainly from a time of day perspective or whatever it may be, pairing with some really great screen manufacturers with, you know, the certain screens for that type of situation, you can bring an experience at a decent part of the day. And when we start looking at you know, levels of sports, for instance, there's a lot of sports. The NFL, 50% of NFL games happen during the daytime this season, right? So we know that the immersive experience, be in the game experience with our projectors in sports, certainly during the NFL season, is a really big win-win for the customer that takes this kind of product home.
Yeah. And so when I walk around the show floor, I see a lot of DLP, and you guys are pushing 3 LCD. Most of the DLP I see is single chip DLP. Do you mind spending a few moments sort of talking about the difference there? Because there's a ton of home theater projectors here that are single chip DLP. Sure. Now, I know the difference, but not everybody else may not know the difference. In fact, I don't know if you even know this, I just pulled a single chip DLP out of a classroom that I teach at the University of North Carolina, put it in an EPSON 3-chip LCD for the reasons that you're about to explain. So tell them about the difference.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, EPSON is all EPSON projectors are 3 LCD. We invented that technology many years ago. So across our whole line, whether we're talking about an 11,000 lumen large venue installation type product, or our dedicated home theater product at 2,000 lumens, everything's 3 LCD. Really, the major difference when we look at 3 LCD, we break out the color to red, green, and blue on 3 separate panels, and that's the defining, you know, colors of a video display, a video source. So we're optimizing. It's highly efficient. We have a nice balance of, you know, white lumens and color lumens. In fact, so if you see a EPSON 3 LCD projector spec'd at 3,000 lumens, that's 3,000 lumens of color brightness and 3,000 lumens of white brightness. And what you're going to get from that is a really great image quality. You're not sacrificing anything. You're having nice, accurate colors at that level. And that's some of the main differences.
Yeah, and so with a single chip DLP, you've got a spinning wheel that's sort of, I don't want to say artificially making colors, but basically it has to open and close and reflect light. at the right time to get red, green, and blue. With LCD, you're breaking the light elements into red, green, and blue elements, so it's all really dependent on the light source that makes the difference. The light source determines how white the whites are and how black the blacks are. So speak about that, because we have different light sources now. We're not only limited to a one type of lamp. In fact, you guys are showing a laser projector here.
Right, and one last thing on the single chip. I mean, when you start to consider the brightness of a single chip DLP, as they get that projector brighter, it has to sacrifice color, because there's a defined amount of space on that color wheel. So that's certainly one of the factors. But whereas with EPSON 3 LCD, red, green, and blue all the time. You're getting full color all the time. We launched last year the LS10000, the LS9600E were our laser home theater product. They're within our Pro Cinema line. It's a dual laser light source. It's phenomenal. The image quality is phenomenal. We're able to achieve a bunch of different things with that laser light source. Certainly total cost of ownership is really low. We have 30,000 hours light source life on that. But the other stuff that really is a benefit of laser light source at that level is high-speed contrast control, color space. So we're really excited with the reception of that product within the market. And then we also have a lot of lamp-based product that continue to do really well, which is a mainstay for a lot of our products in the line.
Yeah, and so why is it dual laser? Tell me why are there two? What's the purpose?
So it's just really a choice of architecture and design, and never really had there been a laser projector within the home theater market defined for that pure image quality. There's a lot of enthusiasts within this market, as you know, and so they have a certain expectation from an image quality perspective.
You're talking about color imagery specifically.
Yeah, and so basically the architecture of the dual laser allows us to, for that, again, 3 LCD red, green, blue, we're able to drive a completely blue laser and then another set of blue lasers for our red and green. That's a nice balance, and it allows for a very efficient and a very durable and a really great image quality projector.
Right, and those will only get brighter over time as well. So I suspect when we come back here next year, you'll make a jump in brightness levels for laser as well.
Yeah, certainly at the enterprise level, brightness is the goal. When we start considering dedicated home theater, we start pushing that brightness to a certain point, but there's definitely a sweet spot, because again, there's a ton of light control. It's a dedicated room, and that's what the customer is looking for.
Yeah, so we're going to do a tour of the booth. We're going to go through and shoot the different application sections you have of the booth, because I think a lot of times, the history of the CEDIA market has really been to put in projectors in home theaters and put a TV in the living room. Right. And you're sort of saying, look, you can put projectors in the living room now because they're bright enough, but also you can make an immersive environment, not just a display, not just make a TV, make an immersive environment. So watch TV small, make gaming big using the same display technology, depending on what you're going to use it for. That's the message that you're kind of selling.
Yeah, and absolutely. We know there's a dedicated home theater customer out there. They love their home theater, they love their dedicated room, and we are absolutely going to address their needs in the future. But there's a huge growth in the idea of ultra bright, high brightness Pro Cinema, where they need that brightness and that solution outside of that typical room. And so we have a line of, like I said, of 4 products for that. And when you start considering who wants to watch sports on a 60-inch flat panel, you want to watch on a 120-inch projected screen. You can be the center of the neighborhood. You have your friends and family over, and you engage with your guests, because the image is just big enough for enough people to actually see it.
Right. And there's a point at which you can even project on pretty much any surface. You don't actually have to put in a dedicated screen, which then doesn't make it as intrusive on the space as well when you're becoming that bright. I mean, obviously, putting in a screen maximizes colorimetry. I know you're going to probably say, hey, Gary, wait a minute, we don't want you to put it on, a eggshell colored wall. But in reality, you can. I mean, you can literally project in any space you want on any surface that you want.
It's important for customers to know that there is that flexibility. There's some awesome screen manufacturers out in the market that make amazing products that, look really great with our product. They have retractable screens that disappear, so aesthetically they look awesome. But it is good to know that, you can put it up on a light gray wall, a white wall, and it's going to look really great. And the possibilities are endless from a size perspective. You can go really, really big, depending on the content you're watching. If you're watching a primetime fight that only happens once or twice a year, maybe you go really big and enjoy it that way.
So I guess I can make an assumption that my next question is going to be yes, and that is, so you're pretty bullish on the market. You feel like you're feeling good about 2016, not just for EPSON, but for the industry?
Yeah, we definitely are. We're seeing growth. We're bringing in new customers with this Bright Pro Cinema line, customers that maybe have seen projection, but they don't know really what it can do. And so, we're excited. We think there's a lot of potential. And really, as people's expectations for bright and big images becomes kind of the mainstay, we have a product to answer that.
Well, thanks, Brian. I appreciate you joining me. Congratulations. Great looking booth. We're going to shoot individual videos on all the products and all the different display sections, the little application sections, I'd like to call them, that you have in your booth here. So all you got to do is type in EPSON, EPSON, in the video search window in the top left corner of this page, and you'll see everything that we shot here at CEDIA 2015. Thanks for watching.